Today, I'd like to do perhaps the first in a series of videos that I'm going to do on the subject of the famous slash infamous book of highly literate erotica slash smut, however you want to categorize it. But however you categorize it, it is an extremely well-written book. So if you want to say it's smutty, it's like the highest quality literature of smut possible, or close to it. You know, maybe not perfection, but because nothing is perfect. But this is again a book where the author has very much a way with words, and I haven't read it in the original French, but I'm guessing that it's even better in its original language. And the book is The Story of O. Now, I realize I'm holding myself up for a kind of ridicule in even talking about this, because it's like, oh, what you just want to get your rocks off Nowicki, huh? That's what you really are doing. That's why you really read this book. Well, no, actually, but that's not what drew me to this book, or what made me interested in reading it. But I mean, there are some things in it that definitely will probably turn you on. There's other things in it that are probably going to make you really wince, and really be highly disturbed. So it's and like I said, there's so many different ways, different angles this book can be read from the point of view of. Let me start by saying that The Story of O was written by it's actually not known for sure who the author was, but they think it was a particular woman who wrote under a pseudonym, because, you know, even in France, this was pretty racy stuff, and it was published in the mid 50s, so before the sexual revolution, before, you know, before it was okay basically to write as smutty as you want and to make movies as smutty as you possibly wanted them to be. So this was a time when there were still censors, and there was still, I don't know what to call them, community standards maybe, where, you don't say certain words, you can't be too, if you're going to be graphic, you've got to be subtle in the ways that you're graphic. There's no direct reference to the actual names of human organs, I don't think. Unless I'm forgetting something. You don't hear vagina. You don't hear penis. You don't hear anus. Not that I think of anus as anything erotic, but in the book, like it or not, every conceivable part of the body that would lend itself to being entered is part of the story, or part of what happens. So what they think that, or what I've heard, and this seems to be what's mostly believed about this book, is that it was written by a particular French author who was a woman, and that it was written as a sort of they say that it was a sort of love letter to the man she loved, who was a well-known man of letters in France at the time. Now, whatever you think about this book, seeing it as a love letter is pretty extraordinary, pretty wild, because again, this is, like I said, there are things in this book that I think are genuinely erotic, and there are also things that are are really frightening and disturbing, and it kind of it takes a situation that's already disturbing and keeps upping the ante more and more as you go along until the ending, until the shocking denouement, to use the French word there. So that's apparently what the origin of the book, but because it was kind of racy and of course very scandalous, even for France, in the mid 50s when it was published, it was written under a pseudonym just because it became so infamous for its content. So the story involves a couple who are seemingly very happy together, very, very much in love. But the opening scene has the male in this relationship. I'm not gonna talk about names here because you can get too easily caught up in trying to remember all these character names. But suffice it to say, the main character is the woman who, at the beginning of the book, is in this seemingly very happy relationship with a man, seemingly very much in love. They seem to be very much in love with one another, and they are, one gathers, of the upper crust of French society, and this becomes clear. A little bit, just as you read. I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. That's why I'm stammering here, because one of the ways in which I think we can read this book is this about the Illuminati? Is this a book about what goes on in secret, with the elites? Is this sort of tearing away the veil and letting us see the kind of things that they're into? I think that's very much a possibility, although I haven't heard anybody talk about the book in that way. But I think that makes for an interesting level of discussion as well. The book can be seen on many, many different levels. But back to the plot. The plot opens with this the husband taking his or not. I guess they're just lovers. They're not married. I guess you could do that in France in the 1950s without it occasioning scandal. But he takes her to a place that's sort of like an Illuminati brothel. That's the best way I can describe it. He just suddenly says to her, "Okay, take off your panties, take off your garter belt, take various things off of clothing wise in the taxi cab." And what is the cab driver thinking? I don't know. We never find out. But and then he has the driver take them to this place, which is like a high class brothel, but a perverse one. So he says, "This is a way you can demonstrate your love and devotion to me." And she's right there. She's even though this seems to come out of the blue, we don't hear that they had been involved in anything kinky prior to this. Although eventually in the book we have some flashbacks where we find out that O, the main character, who's never referred to by name, just by the letter O, that she actually she had a past of doing various things that could be described as kinky or perverse, but we don't know that at the beginning. At the beginning, There's no backstory at all. He just says to her, "Okay, you're gonna get out here. You're gonna be blindfolded. They're gonna take you in, and once you're in this place, you have to do whatever you're told by any man who comes across you and wants to do something with you. You have to. That's part of the deal of this place." And she, as a demonstration of her love, as a demonstration of her devotion to him, as a demonstration that she is his, and she is going to be loyal to his commands, whatever they may be. That she's going to mark herself as submissive, or show herself to be properly submissive. She goes along with it. And so what follows is this sequence where she's in this brothel, and various degrading things happen. She's told never to look at the men in the face. When she does, she's whipped for it, but she also just gets whipped just as on a whim by various people, including the help at this place, the not the concierge, but whatever his name would be, the one who takes her to her quarters, also gets in on it, and so the circumstances get more and more degrading for O over the course of the book. It begins with this time that she spends in this hellhole of a S&M brothel, let's just say, and I call it an Illuminati brothel because it's obviously very well kept. It's classy, If you can talk about a brothel as being classy, it's it's filled with finery, and just everyone is very very refined in their behavior and in their tastes and their manner of speech, and so forth. Once O goes through this experience, then she's taken out of the place and taken back into her life again. But now her life is essentially still consists of, because she went to this place and she now wears a ring that shows that she attended this place. That means that she has been, in a sense, enslaved. And this point cannot be emphasized enough. All along for her, this is something that she, number one, consents to, and number two, enjoys. Or if she doesn't always enjoy it, I mean, there are times where like if they break out the riding crop, which is apparently, like, I didn't know the difference between whips and riding crops before this, but apparently a whip is nothing compared to the lash of a riding crop, and other sorts of implementations that accompany these some of these perverted sexual encounters that she is that she has to take part in. But although she's agreed to it, so this is something that she wants, and all along she feels more and more exalted, more and more. I don't want to say empowered, because that's a shit word today. It's overused. But she, when she thinks of herself as having become a slave to her boyfriend, to her lover, that's a mark of honor for her. And the more degrading things that she's forced to do, which don't stop after she's taken out of the brothel, the more she is happy with the way things are going. And eventually she gets handed off to another man who who goes by the title Sir Charles, and he's an Englishman, and he's related to her boyfriend Renee, which is a man's name. This is France, remember? But Sir Stephen is of a higher station, and you know, there's obviously some hierarchy amongst the elites whereby Renee sees it as, he is somehow honor born to eventually give his lover over to Sir Charles, and eventually Sir Charles becomes the one who owns her, the one to whom she is enslaved, and the one who devises more and more degrading manners of treatment to all of which she submits to, quite willingly and quite joyfully even. So, and it goes. It just keeps, like I said, the ante keeps getting upped as far as what they do to her, and all in all the while she's there for it. She's good with it, and she feels that in her degradation, in becoming enslaved, and going through these tortures and these ordeals, in being humiliated in more and more egregious ways, she feels more and more self-actualized. Would we say? I don't know if that's another one of those gay modern terms. But something like that. She feels not empowered, not self-actualized, but she is like, it's happiness in slavery. That Nine Inch Nails song, which I think he got from somewhere else, probably, because I don't think he was all that original of a thinker. But that's what it is. It's happiness in slavery, and it's not ironic. I don't think it's meant to be read ironically. Maybe that's an out for some modern readers who want to be able to appreciate this while still being good feminists or whatever. But I honestly don't. I honestly think that's a cop out. I don't think there's anything in the book that would let you believe that is truly the case for her. Now, it could be that she's a sort of victim of Stockholm syndrome, that she's just been habituated to this kind of abuse, and so has learned to love it, and to come to identify with it, and to think of herself in the way that her abusers treat her. But again, the abuse is always consensual. So is it really abuse if she agrees to it, if she goes along with it, if she doesn't put up a fight at all? Is it a sign of somebody who has been brainwashed? That, I think you could go somewhere with that interpretation. Somebody who agrees to be degraded to this extent. But it also derives a certain power, I think, from the depiction of a woman who is thoroughly submissive, to the very end, to the very bitter end. And this goes well beyond, 50 Shades of Grey. This goes well beyond that movie Secretary from a few years ago. Both of those are about, BDSM or female submissiveness, as a kink, if you will. This goes beyond all of that, and to the point where it could almost be read allegorically. But I don't want to go there now. I want to. I'm going to talk about this more in another couple of videos. And again, think about me however you want. If you want to think I'm a perv for even talking about something like this, or that I'm a degenerate for even talking about something like this, go ahead. But this book is, it's real. It's substantial. It's not just it's not just a book to spank it to at all. There's substance there. There's a theme. All these English teacher kinds of things that people roll their eyes at. There are definitely themes in this book. So I'll return and talk about a couple of my thoughts as far as what this book might be about, thematically speaking. But there you go. Have you read it yourself? You have any thoughts? Let me know in your comments below. Thanks for watching.